Here we come. Hundreds of people coming in with us here on Zoom right now. Here they come.
Nice.
Oh, there it is.
Hello.
What's up? Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Relish Live event powered by Homemade. It is Chef Ben Leonard here again. We have a very special guest before we get started. I want to introduce our good friend, Emmy.
Hi. Hey, everybody. Chef Emmy here. Super excited to be here, cooking with you all, cooking with Chef Ben.
Y'all, Emmy, we are so excited to announce that Emmy is our newest homemade chef up here in Seattle. So she's cooking along with me today. Very excited about that. But you're going to see her on all these Relish Live and homemade classes going forward. So everyone, give Emmy a big wave, big hi, big thumbs up.
Hello.
Show her what we do here at Relish Live and Homemade.
Hey
What's up,
guys.
everybody?
Oh my God, fun.
So as always, we want to see where you're coming in from, please. We're going to have a couple hundred people probably in on Zoom. We have people in on YouTube Live, Facebook, Instagram. Pop it in the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. Look at that. Everyone's saying welcome.
Nice.
I mean, we
Hi.
love it. Put in the chat. Where are you guys
Good.
coming in from across the country, across the world? Michigan, Australia.
Australia, Jersey, Pittsburgh in the house.
We got people coming from all over. This is
Nice.
awesome.
Toronto. Okay.
This is cool. This is
so
cool.
cool.
We're taking stock of the situation. That's a Swanson joke. You're going to have to deal with this just so that you know if these people are all familiar with this. You're just getting this right now. So before we get started, as always, I want to go over all of the ingredients, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I want everyone to know a little bit about you. This is the first time getting to see you. So what's Chef Emmy all about?
Yeah, so I was born in Brazil and we moved to Seattle, my family and I, when I was 6 years old. My family opened up the first Brazilian restaurant here in Seattle decades ago. We had it for about 20 years, so I definitely grew up like with food in the restaurant industry. Worked with my family, worked in other restaurants in town, then became a private chef, morphed into my catering company. And right now I'm still doing that, tough year, but still going, but I'm also at Seattle Public Schools with the Department of Culinary Services.
That's amazing. And can I say, I mean, there's a lot of amazing Brazilian food. There's this, I don't remember the name of it, but there's this amazing like coconut corn cake, which is, I cooked for the first time
Was it, oh gosh, the name.
That's okay, it doesn't matter. It's
Of
delicious.
course.
You look it up. Brazilian
Fubá?
coconut milk
Yeah.
corn cake. It's delicious. But I also heard that, I think everyone knows Brazilian cuisine might know a thing or two about steak.
Yes.
Maybe?
And yeah, definitely. So Brazil is huge. Like depending on what region you are, it really like differentiates what like type of cuisine you have. Where I'm from, I'm by the ocean, lots of seafood, but very steak heavy down south. Yes.
Very cool. So I don't think there's anything better for Emmy to be coming in and teaching with us today than this amazing easy pepper steak. It's such a cool relish recipe. For all you guys that don't know, if you go on the Relish Live, you know this, but if you go on to relish.com, you can search and find all kinds of amazing recipes. We picked this one because it is unbelievably easy, quick, but you're never going to believe how much flavor is in this for how quick it is. And a lot of that's going to be coming from this Swanson beef broth. So we're going to have an amazing quality steak, and honestly, maybe even a better quality broth that we're going to be cooking with. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go. But just know, even though the ingredients look simple, because of the quality of an ingredient like this natural beef broth from Swanson, and the quality of the steak and the quality of the recipe, this is going to be a weeknight dinner you're going to go to over and over.
All the time.
And over. And over.
So good.
Okay. So first things first, I want to go over the ingredients. Speaking of these ingredients, just make sure that everyone has any substitutions, any changes. If you got equipment questions, that Emmy and I can answer it. Make sure that you're set up, ready to cook. Also, just so you know, you've got 3 times the chef power. Chef Lindsay is in the chat again tonight, so if you have any questions, you can toss them into the chat. She'll answer them. And as always, you can raise your little vertical hand with the reactions. Ask us any questions. You got questions for me, you got questions for Emmy. We'll unmute you, and you can ask as we go. But let's take a look, a little lay of the land. I always like to do this because it makes me feel very dramatic. Lay of the land. We're going to go over everything that we're going to have. So first, we've got our amazing beef broth or beef stock. Maybe later we'll talk a little bit about the difference between the two, but either one will be great here. So have those boxes on standby. We'll talk about measurements later on. Steak. So we've got about a pound of sirloin, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got about a pound of sirloin here. one thing about this is we want to cut it into really thin strips. So, Emmy, what's a great tip for people to cut this into thin strips at home?
Yeah, a great tip. I like to freeze my steak when I want it to get really thin strips. Yeah.
Love it. That's a super great tip. So I'm going to tell you, while we're going over the rest of this, we're going to cook the rice first. If your steak is not frozen, you can actually put it on a plate, put it on a tray, pop it into the freezer for the next 10 or 15 minutes. It'll make it a lot easier to slice.
Yep.
Also for it, we've got a bell pepper or two. I felt both these bell peppers are a little small, and there's two of us, so we both want to cut stuff up because we're chefs. So we've got 2 bell peppers. You got one big one at home, totally fine. And 1 onion, we're going to use about half of it. And then over here for the sauce, we have our soy sauce, which is about a tablespoon or so. We've got about 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and then a clove or 2 of garlic, or if you don't have garlic, then you could use about like 1/4 of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of garlic powder as well. And lastly, it's in the recipe. We decided we were going to cook it today because we're a little passionate not about broth and steak, but we want you all to know how to cook rice really well if you're a little freaked out about doing that at home. And we have a secret trick here for you to really kind of amplify the flavor here. So we've got a cup of rice, and we're going to cook this before we get started. So we're going to zoom back out. Check in any questions, substitutions, things you couldn't find, things that you want to replace, anything like that. Let's grab this now and see. Amy, any hand raised? Any questions, or everyone's pretty good? I think we're doing pretty good. The only problem, though, I have is that I only see a small handful of people tonight with their faces. Even if you're not cooking along, y'all, turn your cameras on. That way I can interact with you. If you have questions, I can see if you're raising your hands and stuff. So I encourage you, please turn your cameras on if you want to be able to interact. That's kind of the fun thing here with here comes a few more people. Thank you all. Yay! Nice. Lynn, Anastasia, thank you all. It's so much better to see your faces.
Yes, we want to see your faces.
What's up, Lynn? How are you doing, Lynn? It's nice to see you. Okay, well, I don't see any questions. So let's get started on the rice first. We were talking about this earlier.
Yes, the great debate.
The great debate. Rice, to rinse or not rinse. Everyone, give me a thumbs up if you think you need to rinse your rice ahead of time. Give me a thumbs. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you never rinse. If you're no rinse, never rinse, thumbs up.
I got a double thumbs up.
Yeah, double thumbs up. All right, people are with us. So we think, unless you're making sushi rice or something, most of the time you don't have to rinse your rice. One of the big things to know is, though, a good general rule for long grain rice, 2 parts liquid,
1 part rice. Yeah.
1 part rice. And we're going to do a little something special. Most of y'all will be thinking that you're going to be cooking it in water. What are we doing today?
We are adding some delicious beef broth, Swanson's beef broth to it. You know, it's going to give a little bit more depth of flavor. Get some really delicious flavor in there in that rice.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So, I mean, will you grab me like a cup or so of beef broth? So, y'all, we're going to do half. So normally, like I said, we're cooking a cup of rice, and that ratio is 2 parts liquid to 1 part rice. So we're going to do about a cup of beef broth, and we're going to do about a cup of water. That looks pretty good there.
Nice.
And then we're going to bring this up to a boil. So if you're doing this along with us, 2 cups of liquid. If you're using your beautiful broth, 1 part broth, 1 part water. And we're not going to add any salt to this, okay? And the reason why is because Swanson has already seasoned this beautifully. There's so much flavor from roasting meat and bones into this beef stock, and they gently simmer it. Amazing, amazing stuff. It's seasoned wonderfully as is, so we don't want to, and we don't, never mind want, we don't need to.
We don't need it, yeah, especially with the sauce that we're going to make.
What sauce are we making?
We are going to make the pepper sauce, right? With the gravy?
We're making pepper sauce with gravy, everybody. Yes, exactly, with the amazing pepper sauce with the gravy. There's going to be a lot of beef flavor. It's going to be really, really well seasoned, so we don't need it here.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is bringing it up to a boil, and then once it gets to the boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer. I keep using this example. The low jet's on a hot tub. Is that weird? Yes. Really that reaction says it is weird, but I'm still going to keep doing it. So like the low jet's on a hot tub, and you're going to cover it in what, like
10,
12 minutes. Yeah. That's pretty good on rice. Can you tell, by the way, I want you all to know, this is like really Relish Live and homemade chef confidence when we go,
when it's ready.
When it's ready. So don't stress about it. Like 10 minutes on your rice, 12 minutes on a rice, they're both going to be pretty great. If you take your lid off and you think it needs another minute, put the lid on and let it keep going. So we'll probably check it 10 or 11 minutes, and once we have like beautiful cooked fluffy rice, we're going to be good to go. I'm going to go to the top down for a second because I think it's nice for people to kind of see what's going on here while this is boiling and what it's going to come down to the simmer. While we're doing that, we should probably get into cutting the steak. Do you want to do that part? Let's do that. You can do that.
Honor.
So, Emmy, I'll keep an eye on this. You take it away on the steak.
So we just want strips, right?
We want wicked thin strips.
Wicked thin strips.
Yeah, everyone, emphasis, wicked thin strips. I keep dropping the wicked so everyone knows I'm from New England. It makes it fun. So for me, though, a lot of times people ask kind of the question, and I bet people are thinking this now, is there a right way and a wrong way to cook this, to cut the steak? So
you definitely, you'll hear like cut against the grain. And what that means, so with our steak, I don't know if you can really see, but
let's try the side angle. Let's see.
Yeah,
that's the one.
You can see, we have the grain, so you can see here, and they're going up this way, so we want to cut against the grain. So any meat that you cut, beef that you cut, you want to make sure that you cut against the grain, and that's because you don't want your meat to be chewy. You want to, you don't want it to be chewy.
Right. It's one of those, and you guys can even do this. Not that I want you to play with your food, but we want to have fun, and we also want to learn. If you cut a strip with the grain, like the wrong way, the opposite of what Emmy just said, and you take it and you try and pull it apart, it's like a rubber band. It like stretches. And if you cut it the right way, like against the grain, and you do that same thing, you can actually pull it apart. And that's not even cooked. You can tell the difference between the two.
Are we still? No, we're not.
Amy, do we have any? It looks like we got a question. Who's got a question over there? That is a great question. So who asked that question, Amy? Giovanna asked, do you put the rice in, and I'm going to switch over so you can see the boil, so you guys can see that it's up to a boil. And this is when I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And I promise, Giovanna, I'm going to answer your question. I haven't forgotten about you. Just when I'm on rice duty right now. And Emmy's doing such a good job on the steak, I don't want to be the guy that messes up.
Concentrating.
I don't want to be the guy that messes up the rice.
Don't mess up the rice.
No, she won't come back if I mess up the rice. So down to a simmer, put the lid on. And the question was, do you put the rice in before bringing it up to a boil or after? And my general rule is it depends on how much you're cooking. If you're cooking a big thing of rice, I like to get the water hot, and then I'll pour the rice in, because it can take a long time for that water to come up to a boil with the rice in there. But for a small amount, just for a couple people like this cup of rice, forget that. I just throw the whole thing in, bring it up to a boil, reduce it to a simmer, and then go. So to answer your question directly, I only heat the water ahead if I'm going to be doing a big amount. Do you have a different thought on that?
I actually always add cold water. And no rhyme or reason other than that's like what my mom always taught me, kind of like potato. So yeah.
The cold water potato.
Cold water potato.
I thought you were saying your mom and grandma, and I was like, that's not very.
Those potatoes.
Those potatoes. Okay, well, mom and grandma can't be wrong, so I think that's good. This is a good point. We got our steak cut into like the little strips, and we've got the rice going. So let's check and see if we've got any other questions. Amy, do we got any more? Sure. Yeah, you want to take this?
Sure.
All right.
I mean, I'll hold.
We'll go side view. Okay.
So
that's a good shot.
Is that good? You see kind of how the grains are like this. So if this was a piece of steak and the grain was going this way, you see these lines, you would want to cut this way against the grain. I don't have a big piece of steak. There you go.
And it's kind of weird because with the cameras sometimes, I know it's a weird example, but sometimes I'll even mention like the cutting board.
Right,
can you all see the stripes in the cutting board, how they run this way? Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Okay, right? Okay. So if we're saying cut with the grain, it would be like cutting along these lines. And what you get is these really long, thin strips of muscle fiber. But if you cut against the grain, right? That's what Emmy's saying. Exactly. Does that make a little bit more sense? Does that answer everyone's question okay? Okay, I'm getting some head nods. We're good. Amy, any other questions?
You could, no?
You want to take that one?
I think you could.
The question was, why not use 2 parts broth instead of 1 part broth, 1 part water? And you?
I mean, I would do either. I think that for this recipe, we're going to be using the broth in our steak dish that we're making. So it's going to be super, super flavorful. But yeah, you can do just water as well, again, because that broth in the steak recipe is going to be super flavorful. It's up to you, really. I think you can get creative with it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you want to do that, go all the way in, go like was gonna say whole hog, but this is all beef.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work. But you can go all in if you
Yeah.
want to go all beef on here. We're gonna have the beef flavor in the steak. We're gonna have the beef flavor in that sauce. That's great. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. Whatever you want to do. All right, cool. So, being chefs and what we were talking about earlier, we're going to show you like our chef spin on it. The way the recipe is written is really great to do this really fast, really easy. But we want to make sure we get really good color on the steak, right?
Yes.
So what did we decide to do?
We decided that we are going to do our veggies first, and then are we removing the veggies?
Yes, we
adding
are.
the steak, searing
Yes.
that, and then adding everything back into the steak.
Yeah, because we want to make sure we can get really good color on the steak without overcooking it.
Yes, we don't want rubbery. Yeah,
No rubbery steak.
no rubbery steak.
So basically what we're going to end up doing is we're going to cut up all our vegetables, show you some good knife skills, get our gravy sauce ready to go. And then we're going to get a really good cook on our vegetables, take them out, and then we're going to focus on just getting amazing color on our steak, and everything's going to come together just like that, super quick. So we've got about 5 minutes left on our rice. We're going to let that just cook away, and we're going to prep our vegetables while
let's do it.
we go, okay? So I'm going to move this steak. Everyone, give me a thumbs up really quick. I want to check in with our Relish Live community here and make sure, is everyone good about if you're cooking rice, you've got that on, and then if you are cutting up the steak, we're good to go. I've got thumbs up from Lynn.
up.
Lena's thumbs
Double
up.
thumbs up.
Joe's looking pretty good. Nicole Johnson, Steph. All right, we're all looking pretty good. Okay, so let's cut up or something. You want to do the bell peppers first?
Sure.
Okay. This is fun because I'm kind of learning about Emmy along with you. So how do you cut a bell pepper?
I mean, also depends on like what I'm making. I feel like if you want to really use all of your veggie, you want to cut it in a way that you save most of it. I usually just like cut around the pepper, like the seeds, so that we get kind of all of it.
Love it.
This is not the best chefy way,
Waste
but this
not,
is how
want not.
I cook at home. You know, I don't want to waste my veggies that I buy. So then we have pretty much still like the whole pepper intact, and then I will just do strips.
That's perfect.
Okay.
We kind of do the same
How do
thing.
you
I
do it?
just some of the people know I tend to be a little
Are you
OCD, a lot of OCD, medium OCD. Like so, I take just a very small amount off of
Yeah.
the top and the bottom, and then that way I can do that same
Do the
roll
same
cut
thing,
like
yeah.
that way.
And that's
Yep.
where if I was at my restaurant or cooking for my clients, I would definitely like
Oh.
do it this way. But if I'm at home, I kind of just want to.
Did I just go too fancy? Is that what-
Not too fancy.
She went too fancy. She's like, Ben, this is home cooking. Like, knock it off. Either way, y'all, we want to get all those seeds out.
Yes.
So getting the seeds out is the most important thing. Those are gone. We
I'll
mind
take
putting
your
that in
seeds for you.
Oh, thank you. And then we're going to cut this into strips. So I'm a big fan, so you don't have to force your way through the pepper. Emmy's already on top of this. Flip it over so it's like skin side down.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier for you
Yeah,
to
because
cut
the skin is a little
into
tough.
like these little 1/4-inch strips.
Yeah, see,
like
yours
something
are
like
so
that.
beautiful.
Oh, thanks, Emmy. She said that my peppers are beautiful, you all. So as everyone's cutting theirs, I want to see what you got. Show me your strips of bell pepper, making sure that we're getting good size. And don't stress too much about like the length of them. You know, they can be 1 inch long, 2 inches long, but just as long as they're all about the same thickness, that like 1/4 inch or so, then that's pretty perfect. So what do we got? Giovanna, that's looking so good. I don't know why I said Giovanna in an Italian accent. I just like using Giovanna in an Italian accent. But Giovanna, those look fantastic. Those look really, really nice. Lena, those look beautiful.
Oh, those are very beautiful.
Very good. Lena, those look better than mine.
Those look better than mine.
So everyone around me is cutting better bell peppers than I am, okay? All right, so we're going to set those aside. Lisa, those look fantastic. Those are great. And let's see
Oh, beautiful.
what we've
Lynn,
got.
Those are. Lynn has a bunch of different color
Lynn,
peppers.
those are great, and I like your sweatshirt too. So before we get into the onions, I want to make sure
Marsha.
everyone's doing okay. Is there anybody that has any questions? Feel free. Remember, guys, you can go down to your little reactions button at the bottom, raise your hand. Maybe I'm just going to put a hard line in the sand that I'm not moving on until I talk to somebody because it's Friday night. This is supposed to be fun. It's a
my
party.
It's my
It's
first
Emmy.
time here.
Somebody
It's a
raise your hands
celebration.
and like, you got a questions? We want to talk easy pepper steak. Want to talk broth? Like, someone raise your hand. I want to hear from somebody. Who do we got? Violet! Hey, what's up, Allison and Violet? How are you?
Hi, I didn't mean to do that, sorry.
Well, you did it. You did it,
Now
and
you're
sometimes
here.
that's how life works, Violet. How are you two? Good. She's like, I'm not talking anymore. I just talked long enough to let you know it was a total accident. She's giving us a thumbs up, y'all. That's awesome. Hey, Marsha, what's going on? Marsha, go ahead and unmute. Oh, Marsha, you're still muted. Let's give it one more try. Marsha, can you unmute? Did you want to say hi, or are you just raising your hand to just like wave? I can't hear you guys. This is live TV. This happens. This happens sometimes. Let's try one more. Or third time's a try.
Let's see.
There she is. Marsha, can I hear you?
Uh-oh.
I lost her all.
No.
That's all right. Somebody better raise their hand though before we get off here. I want everyone to say a nice hello to Emmy for being her first time. There's Sky. What's up, Sky? Coming through big in the clutch. What's up, Sky?
Hi, Sky.
I'm really excited because I'm actually doing vegan.
Ooh.
This is my first ever homegrown green pepper.
Yum.
Really
Let's.
exciting for me. I've never
Nice.
capsicum, as we call them.
Nice.
Caps. Are you coming in from Australia?
For the pepper.
Oh, is she? Nice.
Are you coming in from Australia?
Yeah, Queensland.
How amazing.
But I'm actually Scottish, originally from Edinburgh.
That's amazing. This is very cool. This is
Amazing.
international. And you grew the pepper?
Guys.
She said she did. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's my first ever one. And
Beautiful.
50 years of age.
that's amazing.
Never too late
That's
to
super
start.
cool.
I love running around the garden and grabbing everything.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a medical condition with my brain, and so I treat it all naturally, all natural plants. So I just, everything.
What other veggies are you using? You said you're doing a vegan one. Is it just peppers and onions?
Broccoli, carrot,
Ooh.
mushrooms.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's gonna be good. I love it. It's only breakfast time here, so
Ooh.
wait, it's torture.
Well, good morning, and thanks for
Good
joining
morning.
us. That's awesome, Sky. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So we've got our steak cut.
Yes.
Rice is almost done. I just checked it. I'm gonna give it another minute. It was that. What did we say? It's 10 to 12 minutes. So we're gonna cut up our onions. So I think the best way to do this one is we're gonna take the top and bottoms on. Then we're gonna split the workload.
Cool.
Can I ask you one more time for scraps?
Yes.
Thank you. Teamwork. And I'm gonna split it in half right over. We'll switch to the top view, right through like that. And then we're each gonna peel our half of an onion. Perfect. Oh, I got a little extra I gotta take off. And then I was thinking, just so we have, it is easy pepper and onion. So you can slice them along this way and get nice thin ones, but you get kind of little chunkier strips if you cut them across this way. So is that cool with you?
Yeah,
Is
let's
that all
do
right?
that.
Okay. So y'all, once you have them cut and you got the tops and the bottoms off and you peel it, we're gonna cut just like this, so we get really nice big slices of our onion. All right. This is like synchronized cutting. This is fun. This is like an Olympic event. I like it.
I have a little trauma with onions.
You had trauma with onions?
Yes, onions. When I was doing my knife skills test in culinary school, I slipped that knife and still have a mark. So onions are a little scary for me, but yeah,
Are you okay now?
I'm fine.
You're okay. I'm sorry. I feel bad. It's your first day here, and I
That's
made you do
okay.
something traumatic. That's not very good. I feel like I should have. I feel like I should have known this somehow and been like the one thing that's traumatic for you to cut up that we shouldn't have done. All right, y'all. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Are we all good on those knife skills? So onions, peppers, steak, good to go. We're doing good. All right, lots of thumbs up, lots of nods.
Lots of
If you're
thumbs up.
cooking rice, we're going to check it out. I'll switch
Are
over
we
to
ready?
the top down. I don't know. I think we're close. So can you all see this? How if I pull the rice away, there's not really any liquid left on the bottom? This is just about what we're looking for. Are you pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay.
'Cause it's gonna, yeah.
So once it looks like that, you can shut your heat off. We're going to keep the cover on for just a couple minutes, and we're going to set it aside and just let the rice finish cooking, steaming, getting fluffy. Would you pass me our saute pan down there? Thank you, Emmy.
You are so welcome.
And then we're gonna get ready to make our sauce, guys. So as part of this easy pepper steak, it has the most amazing gravy. Again, thanks to the flavor that's in the
Yes.
Swanson broth. So we've got to put this gravy together, which means we got to do what?
Mix it. So we're mixing the soy sauce, cornstarch, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna
Am I
grab
doing
a.
this right, Chef
Yeah,
Ben?
you're chef. What are you asking me for? It's very clear that you know 10 times more than I do.
And then our gravy.
Yeah. So y'all, we're mixing
First.
up our cornstarch. We're mixing up our soy sauce. And then we're going to mix up about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of gravy. And I'm going to call on you all again. And we're going to put garlic here in a second, but we're going to get this all mixed up first. And I want to call on a brave soul again. Somebody tell me what the cornstarch is going to do in this gravy once we put it in the pan. What's the point of the cornstarch? Where's my Relish Live community here? Somebody raise your little hand. I want to see. Who's going to tell me? Lena Tucker, go for it. It's going to it's going to thicken it, but I know you. You're a heck of a cook. Dive deeper. But imagine it's a swimming pool of broth and you're going to the bottom. Like, dive deep. Why does it get thicker? Or how?
The cornstarch causes to come together and thicken.
Right, but when you have to heat the pan, right? So it has to get hot. So like this cornstarch won't thicken. You're 100% right, Lena. This cornstarch won't do a thing now, y'all. But as soon as we put it in the pan,
It'll start thickening.
it gets hot and it starts to thicken up.
Is this about a cup?
I think that looks like a cup. What do y'all think? That looks like about a cup, right? Okay. So the last thing we're going to do is going to be our garlic. So, Emmy, will you pass me one
Yes.
clove of garlic, and you can do one as well.
Perfect. Hello.
And y'all, we're just going to lightly crush and mince up our garlic. And this is one of those things where if you wanted to, you could mince the garlic up with a knife. You could put it through a garlic, what's that thing called?
Micrograte.
Oh, yeah, you were saying microplane?
Is that what? Yeah, microplane. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a garlic press.
Garlic press. Yes.
Whatever you want,
Yeah.
just as long as you get like really small pieces of garlic, and that's going to go into our sauce mixture, sauce mixture as well. All right. So nice little press. Get rid of your paper, and then we're going to get that all chopped up. So I'm thinking that we should switch sides though, because
Yeah.
I want.
You wanna show?
Well, no, I basically want you to get your first chance behind the stove here
Oh.
at Homemade. So we're going to
Okay.
switch sides because
That sounds-
also your vegetables look better than mine. So now that anyone
they
that's
don't.
logging in now, these are my vegetables, y'all. Like, see how I did that? So I'm going to switch it over because that way you get to cook a little bit.
Perfect.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to? We have a question.
Yeah. So while we're cutting up our garlic, y'all, we've got a couple of questions. So who do we got? Randy and Erica? Randy and Erica's iPad. I have a feeling it's not the iPad asking the question, but we can try. What's going on? Do we have Randy, Erica? Maybe not.
Yes.
Hi.
You have me.
All right. How are you?
How big were the slices of meat that you cut?
Awesome question.
wanna-
So the question y'all was like, in case anyone didn't hear it, was how big are the slices that we cut? And
Yeah.
Emmy, go for it.
So I cut it about. I mean, what would you say this is? Like a quarter?
I am gonna
Eighth?
go
Oh.
an eighth
eighth.
to a quarter of an inch.
And again,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
And
You're
the tip was it's easier to cut it thin if your steak is frozen or like put in the freezer for at least like an hour or so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Lynn Taft, I saw your little grater there, by the way. That's great. Great. Marsha, did you have a question? You're back, Marsha.
Yeah.
What's up, Marsha?
Okay, I'm back. I finally figured out.
There we go. Oh,
Yeah! Love it.
How are we about taking the peppers in?
We're going to do it all in the same pan.
Okay, and what type of, are we using any olive oil or anything? to
what oil are
saute
we
it?
using?
Yeah, you can use a little bit. You can use any oil you feel comfortable with, Marsha, as long as it'll go over like a medium high heat. So olive oil is fine. You want to use canola, corn, vegetable, grapeseed, avocado.
Yeah. Safflower.
Can we make safflower? Can we list any more oils
we
for
keep
you?
going?
World's your
Peanut
oyster,
oil.
Marsha.
Oh, no, got it. Thank you.
Awesome.
so
You're welcome.
welcome.
Amy, we got one more question. It looks like Tiffany has a question.
It's Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany. One more time, louder, Tiffany.
Are you start taking
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes. That louder was really good. Yes, we're going to saute them together, which is what we're going to do now, right?
It sure is. All right, let's get started here. Got some oil. We're going to turn this on. Yeah. We're going to do medium high heat.
Yeah, and one of the things everyone wants, one of the things we love here at Relish Live and Homemade is we like telling people, we kind of go on a number scale. So you all are familiar with this. Like, so maybe like a 5 or 6 out of 10, just kind of medium heat on your pan. And a couple seconds worth of olive oil or whatever one of those 87 oils that we listed is going to go in.
Perfect.
And then should I just combine my onions and your peppers together? Should I just
then they can't tell it
they
apart.
can't tell my bad ones? Okay. All right. So again, y'all, the reason why we're doing it this way is because we just really want to get a really high heat sear on the steak, so we get really beautiful color. If you're like, I don't have time for that, and it's Friday night, I got places to be, like, or just a couch to fall asleep on, then you can absolutely just put the peppers in, then throw the steaks and do it all in as a one-pot thing. But we're just going to do it in 2 stages, just so that we can do a lower heat on the veggies and a little higher heat on the steak.
All right, I think I'm getting hot here. So let's add. Yeah, a little sizzle.
Ooh.
Messy.
I like a little sizzle.
You like a little sizzle?
So while we're doing this and we're cooking the onions and peppers, I want to check, because I know this is one of those things a lot of people have questions about. They go to the store, they see all these packages, they don't know what's going on. Like, so I want to know, does anyone out there have any questions about broth, stock, bone broth? What's the difference? What flavors, uses, like anything like that? Or do we have any broth stock questions out there?
I got a couple.
Amy says we have a different kind of question. What kind of question do we have, Amy? Helena wants to know, how do I know if it's hot enough? Helena, do you mean your pan? You want to take this one?
I just kind of, as you saw, like put my hand over it. I can kind of feel the heat coming from the pan. That's a good way. This thing is super fast, probably faster than at least what I have at home. But yeah, I like as a chef just kind of put my hand there and see if there's like some heat radiating. Do you have any other way that you like to test it out?
It's a weird one, but I think it's real. I always go a lot by sound. So
yeah.
A recipe can tell you like medium heat, and you put it on and your stove's different than the person that wrote the recipe, or the pan's different. So if you put those peppers in and you want them to be on medium heat, it should kind of be a medium sound.
Yeah.
Like, so if you put those peppers and onions in and it's just quiet, just dead quiet.
You don't ever really want it to be quiet.
You don't ever want it to be quiet. But if you put them in and it sounds like just this, sounds like this angry hiss, this crazy, loud, scary noise, it's probably too hot, y'all.
Yeah.
So like turn it down. So I personally think noise is a big thing.
Totally.
Yeah. So we just kind of want a nice, healthy, like medium heat right now. Like, and that should be a nice, healthy kind of medium sizzle sound.
Very medium noise right now.
Yeah. So what are you going for on these? Are you looking for any sort of color, or just to kind of cook and
So
soften them?
I mean, I always love color. I feel like, especially when it's like a stir fry, you want that flavor. To me, I feel like color really like means a lot of flavor, depth of flavor to it. So I want to get a little bit of color on this, don't you think?
Yeah, I think a little bit of color.
Yeah.
And then I want to call on William, because William has my favorite way. He has a question, and I want to take care of our guy William. William, first, hi and welcome. It's nice to talk to you. How can we help?
Why aren't you using a stainless steel pan so you get fond?
That is a really, really
hear
great
his
question,
question.
William. So William's question there was, why don't you use a stainless steel pan so you can get fond? You absolutely could, not a problem. I'm not going to cook the steak quite long enough where I'm going to get a lot of fond, William. So I'm just being a little lazy on a Friday night, and I was thinking with all of this gravy in here, I want a pan that's easy cleanup.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. If you're at home and you want to use a stainless pan, and what William's talking about, everyone, that fond is that, it's like, hey, no, not the fond. It's like the fond is the little brown stuff that sticks on the bottom of a pan, and it's added flavor.
Yeah.
So typically you want that when you sear a steak or a piece of chicken or whatever. And as you put liquid in, it will release those brown bits, and it's just delicious.
So good.
Right? So it's basically, I just want easy cleanup tonight,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'd get a lot of fond for how quick we're going to cook the steak.
Exactly.
That's all.
And the stock gives it so much flavor, that beef flavor already. So I think we're all good in that department.
But that's an awesome question. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you, William.
It's starting to get a little bit of color. Everything
yeah.
is kind of softening up.
Let's switch over to top down.
Top
Y'all can see
down.
that. Look at that.
You
Look
can
at that,
see
y'all.
like we're getting like the color right here. It's already a little caramelized.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, Amy, I think we got one more question. Amy, we got another question?
Yes.
Ooh, what size pan are
What
we
size
using?
pan is this?
You want to
Like
take that one?
We're using a saute pan, or is this? I want to say like 9-10 inches.
Yeah, that is
that?
that is 10.85 inches, everybody.
Exactly.
For our metric, no, I don't know. It is a nice medium to large size skillet. Is
Yeah.
going to be perfect for this. So, here's the general rule. I like making. I mean, I'm gonna ask you to switch this back to the main view for me for a second, because I like eye contact for
Yes.
emphasis. It's one of
We're
my weird
getting
things.
lots.
Bigger pan's better than small, y'all. Like, if you have too big of a pan and it doesn't fill it up quite enough, not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You just stir the peppers around. But if you have a pan that's too small, you're not going to fit everything in there. Your pepper's just going to steam. So
Yeah.
just a nice medium, large size pan. And if it's a little too big, so be it. Okay, so
Okay.
that's looking good, right?
Yeah, I think we got some color on it. Everything's softened. Got it
Yeah.
right here.
So we're going to switch this on over. And then what's up next?
It just didn't want to go.
I'm just going to eat that onion. And so what is up
What is-
next? What's the next step?
So the next step, we are going to sear our steak.
Yes.
Add a little bit more oil to our pan. We're going to churn it up.
To 11. No. Why do I always make a Spinal Tap joke? I got to stop with that. I got to stop with
So we
that.
want a little bit more heat for our beef.
A little bit more heat
Yeah,
for our beef.
and
Yep.
it's kind of smoky, so
I can't
it
wait to
was
hear the-
ready. You ready to hear the?
I want to hear the sizzle. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was definitely churned up.
I'm going
a
to go in
little
the
bit.
background and do like a little sizzle dance while you're doing that.
Not the sizzle dance.
Yes, the sizzle dance.
Perfect. Yeah. So you can definitely hear that it's a little bit louder than our veggie was.
And if we can hear it over the sound of this delicious sizzling steak, Nancy Nicholson, you have a question. Thank you for patiently waiting. If you can unmute yourself. What's going on, Nancy?
Hi, we're really enjoying your cooking demonstration tonight. So my question is, I understand from the packet the broth is, stock is, and those ones. But what about bouillon cubes? How do they really
Bouillon
fit?
cubes.
Ooh, that question is one in a bouillon.
What a number. Dad
Sorry.
jokes.
I am so sorry, you all. So bouillon is basically just a condensed down,
Yeah.
dried.
More concentrated.
Yeah, and it's a lot more concentrated. It's a quick, easy thing. It's a shelf-stable thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll put extra spices and things in it, like garlic powder or dried herbs and stuff. But it's basically like, that's your emergency thing?
Yes, I would definitely say emergency.
Yeah, it's one of those
scenario.
things. It's just nice to have in the cabinet in case you need it. It's a quick, ready-made thing, but it's not going to be quite the same substitute as having like a beautiful broth or stock ready to go in your pantry. And you also have more control over it that way. You can add what you want to it as well. But I'm not going to lie, Nancy. I always have some around the house.
Well, I think you have it for being sick too.
Hey, I'm not against that. If I get sick and someone wants to bring me a nice warm
Nice
cup of
bouillon.
of bouillon, like, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Nancy. Of course.
We got
wanna-
some color, some beautiful color on
Yeah,
our steak.
Jeff, you got a shot at Jeff.
Look
Yes.
at this.
So y'all see the color on that? This is why we turned the heat up. This is why we did this extra step. So we're gonna add the veggies back in.
Veggies
right?
back.
Okay. So veggies, if you're cooking along with us at this point, y'all, Joe, those peppers are looking beautiful, by the way. We're gonna add our peppers and our onions back in. And then what's up next, Emmy?
And then we are going to add our sauce stock mix.
We are.
And that was soy sauce, cornstarch, and our beautiful beef stock. There we go.
I was asking earlier, so Swanson broth is my favorite Swanson. Does anyone want to take a guess what my second favorite Swanson is? Oh, everybody here at work is so upset I'm even doing this. That would be Ron Swanson. And this is Ron Swanson approved recipe right here, guys. Easy pepper steak. This is a recipe Ron Swanson would love. And for the people that love that show, thank you for laughing. And for everybody else, I'm so sorry. Please come back to Relish Live. So Emmy, we got the peppers and the onions and the steak in. We put our broth and cornstarch mixture in. And so what are we doing now?
Now we're just cooking. We're going to stir the mixture, and we're going to wait until our sauce thickens, because we talked about, that cornstarch is going, as soon as it hits the heat, it's going to start thickening. And you can already see that it is pretty thick in there.
This is the gravy, y'all.
It's the gravy we were talking about.
Now, I know this is one of those things that might happen at home. If people get this a little too hot or they cook it a little too long, can that be fixed?
Oh, I'm sorry.
If the gravy,
I was
you were
so mesmerized by this
That's okay.
smell. It was captivating me. I didn't hear anything you just asked
You're
me.
not the first or last person to tune me out, so don't worry about it. So I was asking, if people cook this a little too long or they get a little too hot and they think their gravy's a little too thick, is there a way to fix it?
Let's add a little bit more stock. That's how you can fix it. You can add some of our delicious stock to your meal, to your stir fry mix.
I love it, and that was low key just my way to try and get more Swanson broth and stock into.
And
the
it
dish,
is. I feel like this is a little. I want it to be. Don't you want it to
Yeah,
have a
we
little
want it-
bit
we
more
want it-
stock? Let's
I
add a
do.
little bit more.
Let's add a little bit more stock.
Because we have that rice, and we want a little bit. We want it to be saucy.
Yes, low key. Honestly, is the best policy. I forgot we have rice. We have that beautiful beef rice. I'm so excited. I'm just kidding, y'all. I didn't forget that we had rice. Can I reach across?
What is going? Yeah.
Yes.
Is this beeping for? Oh, it is.
Why is it
There we go.
beeping? It's just
It
that
just
excited.
beeps. Nice.
That's the noise it makes when it gets that excited.
Yum.
So, Jeff, can you get across here, or should I come to you? Should I come to you? So everyone, look at our rice. We cooked it for minutes, which
Yeah.
means 10 to 12. And now we've got really separate grains. We let it sit over there with the lid on and just kind of steam for a little bit longer, another 10 or 15 minutes. And look, so anyone that didn't give me a thumbs up for team don't rinse your rice, have you converted? Does anyone think you need to rinse your rice if you cook it right? Look at those really beautiful
I don't see any.
separate grains,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to transfer this over to our big platter, if that's cool with you.
Perfect.
I can smell the beef broth
It's-
too. It's
Right?
delicious.
It's so.
Can I make a little steak
Yeah.
and pepper bed?
And this is like the perfect meal for fall, winter, super quick and easy, work night, school night, one pan plus the rice pot.
100%. 2-pan.
Two pan.
2-pan. All right.
And here we go.
That smells delicious.
Amazing.
Y'all, look at that. This is the part where I whisper because I get excited. What do you all think of that? Easy pepper steak. We got those beautiful
look
bell
at-
peppers, the onions. Look at the color.
Nice.
I mean, you killed it.
Beautiful.
You
Yeah,
crushed it.
see?
See? Worth a little extra step.
It's just a couple minutes just to get that
Yeah.
color. Yeah.
So I want to check in with my my Relish fam here. How's everyone doing out there? If you got some dishes that are plating up,
Ooh, Sky, that looks really
we want
good.
to see them. Sky, that does look delicious.
Yes.
Right? Who
Super
else is going?
colorful.
Steph's still stirring. And then maybe should we see if there's any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody
so
have any questions?
I want to see how everyone's doing. If you got any questions, raise your little hand. Or Amy, we got anything popping up in the chat? Can we serve you? Can
Yeah.
we eat some?
Let's do it.
Okay. We're gonna serve some up while we see what's going on. But hit us up with some questions,
Yes.
y'all. We want to make sure you're feeling. Part of this is, look, I get it. It's
Ooh,
easy.
there you go.
It's delicious. But we also want to make sure you really, really feel confident about doing this at home. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure you take this broth and make something delicious. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Lena's plate. Yours looks so good. She's already plated up, ready for dinner.
Yeah, Lena crushed it. Shauna
Ooh,
Rappaport.
We have some snap peas.
Snap
Yes,
peas?
yeah.
Yes.
That was great.
I love it.
Does brown rice work? It does. Yeah,
Does brown rice work? Is that what the question was?
I think.
Yeah, so somebody was asking, does brown rice work in the chat? Good catch, seeing that. Brown rice absolutely will work, y'all. It would be delicious. It just takes quite a bit longer to cook. So
Yeah.
jasmine rice takes 10 to 12, long grain, basmati, whatever. Your brown rice is probably going to take more like 40 minutes
Yeah.
or so, something like that. So it's going to take a little bit more time. I want you to have that really nice seared teeth. Is
Thank
that
you.
okay?
I was
'Cause you
eyeing
did
it.
Such a good. Forks are right in there. Welcome to the kitchen.
Second. No, first. Sorry.
This looks so good. It's okay. You're good. I'm gonna give you a little more.
Yum.
Let's check this. Oh, thanks for the fork. I love it.
Cheers.
Joe, those knife skills look awesome. So we're gonna eat this up.
Yeah.
We're gonna check it. I'm excited about this. Is like perfect for the fall weather that we
is.
have here. I'm gonna give one more check. Do we have any questions? Any plates to show, or is everyone feeling awesome? The plates I saw were fantastic.
Violet and Mom, is that sesame seeds that you sprinkled on top there? Nice.
Sesame seeds, loving it. You all crushed it. Tiffany, that looks delicious. Tiffany, I can see the steam coming off your
I
plate in
know.
front of your face. That was like a TV show for me.
Lynn,
that was
that
really
looks
nice.
bomb.
It's absolute. This is so
Yum.
good.
It's so good. It's like I love fall weather, like 'cause it's like hearty meals like this. It's delicious.
Absolutely crushed it. So also for anyone that's not done cooking, I want to remind you, please tag these. We want to see these online. So hit
Yes.
us up at With Homemade, at Relish the Recipes, at Swanson Broth, do Facebook, Instagram. Check all that stuff out. We want to see you cooking. We want to see, I want to see plates of the dishes. We want to see the dishes, but I want to see you guys having fun
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
being confident in your kitchens too. So post pictures of that. And I'm going to give, should we give it one more time?
Yes.
Amy, do we have any questions?
Any questions?
I'm just going to keep eating.
Yeah.
It's delicious. All right. Someone turn this into a steak and cheese hoagie.
I can see
I'm
that.
on my. Who was that? And what is
I'm-
your address in a not creepy way? Because I'm on my way. Yes,
Wow.
CJ. I love it.
Super creative. I love it too.
Well, I'm going to be selfish for a second and just say, can y'all give a big round of applause and thumbs up for Emmy? We're super excited to have her here and have
Thank
her
you
in more
all.
classes.
I'm super excited. Thanks for having
I'm
me.
super honored I get to do the first class with you.
I know.
That's pretty
Okay.
cool. We've got one more question. Randy Erica's iPad is back for more. What's up? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I was just applauding.
Oh,
Nice.
well, that's fine. We love the recognition, so thanks. How did it turn out? Were you cooking along?
No, I wasn't cooking along.
That's, all right.
That's
well,
okay.
Thanks
Just
for.
watching today.
We like that too. Thanks for joining in with us. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Emmy. Emmy, anything you want to say?
Thank you. I'm just so excited. Thanks for being my first class, everybody here. This was a great recipe for it being my first time. So good.
It's delicious.
It is.
Well, then thank you all. Thanks for coming to join us again. Emmy and I will be cooking with you very, very soon, again, with Relish Live. Remember to tag all those pictures so that we can see everything. And we will see. Oh, wait, Amy, do we have one more question?
Do you have any other recommendations for recipes that could be good with the Swanson's chicken broth?
Oh,
Ooh,
someone
that's
asked
a
if we
good-
have more recipes that are good with broth. We're going to be in trouble. You go first.
Yeah, I love like any stews, soup, anything like hearty like this. I love adding some Swanson's broth to. Like a chicken piccata is good with the chicken broth or stock. Just
Yeah.
like sear some chicken breast like we did the steak and add some capers and garlic and just do that. It's so good. Yeah.
I'm going to give you two that I really like, and especially it's great in the summer, but it's even good if you get tomatoes out of season. If you just saute shallots and cherry tomatoes in a saute pan, just get them nice and hot so the tomatoes pop and blister, maybe add a little bit of thyme or something, and then
Yeah.
hit that with some of the broth, and kind of the pectin and the jamminess that comes out of the tomato, mix it with the broth, and it makes this amazing tomato sauce. It's great for fish, great
Yum.
for chicken, it's
That
beautiful.
sounds so good.
And then I'm going on full-on chicken and dumplings. I am pouring
Ooh,
a giant amount of Swanson's chicken broth in a pan,
Yeah.
and with shredded chicken and veggies, and then dropping some dumplings in, and that is a great Friday
Yum.
night meal too.
So good.
Right?
So easy, simple.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was an awesome question. Thank you all so much. Again, can't wait to cook with you again. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for welcoming Emmy. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in and cooking with me, and letting me have extra fun. And we will see you all sometime very, very soon. Thank you all. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
guys. Bye.